They say karma always finds its way home. But trust me, nobody expects it to show up cruising at 30,000 feet in the form of a scalding cup of coffee and a 16-year-old girl with nerves of steel. You ever wonder what happens when a flight attendant, sure of her place at the top of the food chain, decides to teach someone who doesn't belong a lesson in first class? Let me tell you, that day the lesson didn't go quite as planned, and in the end, it was her own arrogance that crashed and burned before landing. The first-class cabin of Aura Airlines, with its soft, golden lighting and the faint tang of bergamot in the air, was a world built for quiet luxury, a place where the whispers are softer, the carpet thicker, and the price tag high enough to keep most folks out. 16-year-old Zola Thompson knew this place like the back of her hand, but no matter how many times she flew, she always felt just a little bit like an imposter. Her father, Robert Thompson, ran the whole airline, but on this flight to London, he was tied up in New York with a board meeting. So Zola was solo, tucked in a seat two, a sketchbook balanced on her lap, trying to capture the dying lights spilling across the window, her own small sanctuary in a world that always seemed to question if she belonged. She felt the stare before she saw, if kind that weighs on your skin. It came from Brenda, the flight attendant, all perfect hair and a smile sharp enough to cut glass. The kind of woman who's made a career out of running first class like her own private kingdom. "Can I help you, miss?" she asked, the miss landing somewhere between polite and patronizing. Zola looked up, heart beating a little faster. "No, thank you. I'm just getting settled," she replied, calm and steady. But Brenda wasn't convinced. Her eyes swept over Zola's high-end sweats, judging, calculating, failing to put the puzzle together. "Are you sure you're in the right seat?" she pressed, voice all sugar and vinegar. "Economy's just down the aisle, you know." Zola held out her boarding pass, gold Aura, first logo, shining under the cabin lights. Brenda's smile cracked for half a second, a flash of annoyance at being wrong before she spun away, stiff and bristling. Zola exhaled, but peace was out the window. Every time Brenda passed, her tone would freeze over, her warmth gone. Yet with every other passenger Hollywood type hiding behind sunglasses, a hedge fund guy in an $8,000 suit, she was all laughs and honey compliments, laying it on thick, as if their comfort was her true mission in life. Let me back up a sec. See, this wasn't Zola's first rodeo. She'd spent years fielding suspicion and sideways glances, told again and again with a look or a word that she didn't belong, that her presence here was some mistake. Her father always said, "Don't let them steal your peace, Zola. Your existence isn't up for their approval." So she really did to sink back in her sketchbook and ignore Brenda's daggers. But when she ordered orange juice, Brenda slammed it down just a bit too hard. It was like a warning, don't get too comfortable. An hour into the flight, Brenda started coffee service. The smell was rich and warm, but Zola wanted none of it. "No, thank you," she said, eyes never leaving her page. Brenda didn't take the hint. "Nothing? No tea? No hot chocolate? Surely you want something." It was more accusation than offer. Zola looked up, confused. "No, really, I'm okay." For Brenda, that was a final insult. "God forbid you interact with the staff," she muttered just loud enough. Then it happened, so fast Zola barely saw it. Brenda, losing her balance, sent a full pot of scalding coffee straight into Zola's lap. The pain hit like fire, a scream she couldn't hold in. Her sketchbook hit the floor, hands clawing at burning legs. For a split second, Brenda's face wasn't surprised, it was satisfied. "Oh my goodness," she gushed, fake concern dialed up to 10. "Turbulence, you know how it is." Except there hadn't been so much as a bump in the air. The cabin was still as a church. Other passengers stared, some curious, some annoyed. Most just wanted the drama to be over. But one man wasn't looking away, a silver-haired gentleman in 3D, Dr. Aries Thorne, retired surgeon. He saw the burns, knelt beside Zola, and calmly took charge. "That's a second-degree burn, possibly worse. She needs water and to get those pants off now." Brenda bristled, arms crossed. "I'm a trained flight attendant. I have it under control," she snapped. "Dr. Thorne's gaze never wavered. "You're making it worse." With Dr. Thorne and a younger attendant, Chloe, Zola managed to hobble to the lavatory, each step agony. Inside, Chloe was gentle, helping her peel off the ruined sweats. The burns were angry, blistering, making Zola sick to her stomach. Chloe's eyes filled with tears. I saw what happened. There was no turbulence. I'm so sorry. It was the first real kindness Zola had felt since she'd boarded. It mattered. 20 minutes later, dressed in airline pajamas, Zola returned to her seat, pain dulled but dignity frayed. Brenda was up front, whispering furiously with the purser. Zola's sketchbook lay face down on the carpet, a reminder of the girl she was before coffee became a weapon. Something hardened in her, not rage, exactly resolve. Quietly, she sent a text to Eleanor Vance, her father's chief of staff. Incident on Flight 102 Australian dollars. Flight attendant caused injury. Need assistance on landing. Please be discreet. She turned off her phone, closed her eyes, and waited for the descent. Landing at Heathrow, she skipped the immigration line. Instead, two people waited, a silver-haired exec named Nigel Hayes and Eleanor herself, calm and unyielding. They swept Zola into a private suite, a medic tending to her burns. The purser had already confirmed Zola's story. Dr. Thorne left a blistering message for her father. Brenda's carefully crafted report, blaming turbulence and a clumsy passenger, was falling apart. Zola spoke to her father by phone. Robert Thompson, the man who could make or break airlines with a word. For the first time, his voice was cold with fury. This isn't about a spill, Zola. It's about a rot I won't tolerate. I promise you, this will be handled. And when Robert Thompson made a promise, the world moved. Brenda enjoyed 36 more hours of ignorant bliss. By the time she landed back in New York, there was an email waiting. Mandatory meeting, 9 a.m. Sharp. She still thought she could talk her way out, that her years of service would protect her. Instead, she walked into a boardroom with the company's top brass, including Eleanor Vance. They had everything: flight records showing zero turbulence, the purser's testimony, Dr. Thorne's statement, and medical photos of Zola's burns. One by one, her defenses collapsed. "Who is this girl?" she whispered. Eleanor's answer landed like a hammer. "Her name is Zola Thompson. Her father is Robert Thompson, the CEO." Brenda's world disintegrated in an instant. Her termination was swift, her pension gone, her career obliterated. No other airline would touch her. For Zola, healing wasn't just physical. Weeks later, back in first class, her father by her side, she wondered aloud, "Dad, if it hadn't been me, would you have done all this?" Robert was honest, might have fired Brenda for anyone, but the full reckoning, the cultural overhaul, came because he was forced to see his own companies rot through the eyes of his daughter. "Your pain, Zola, became the lens I needed," he told her. Aura Airlines launched the Aura Cares Initiative, retraining staff to recognize and fight bias. Chloe, the attendant who showed compassion, was promoted to lead the program. As for Brenda, she ended up bagging groceries in Ohio. Her uniform now a cheap vest, her old life gone. Karma wasn't subtle. It was public, humiliating, and total. No airline, no pension, just the echo of her own prejudice, night after night. Zola found her peace again, not by forgetting, but by transforming pain into purpose, sketchbook in hand, determined to redraw her world on her own terms. And if there's a lesson in all this, maybe it's that you never really know who you're serving coffee to. 30,000 feet in, you sure as hell never know who might be writing the next chapter of your story. So what do you think was Robert Thompson's response? True justice, or just privilege in action? Where's the line between consequence and revenge? Let's talk about it. Drop your thoughts below. I read everyone. If this story hit home, give it a thumbs up, share it with someone who needs a reminder about respect, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories that dig beneath the surface.